Hey there folks, and welcome back to Star Citizen. Today we are going to be taking a look at the Joker Suckerpunch Cannon. It is a size 1 cannon that doesn't do any damage whatsoever. However, it does have an effect that it does, and the effect that it does is it drains the power supply of the enemy ship that you're attacking. So it has its uses, however it's not really all that strong unless you synergize it with other weapons that work well with the Suckerpunch Cannon. The Suckerpunch Cannon was initially conceived as a law enforcement weapon to immobilize enemies without destroying their ships. I can see this being very, very good in the persistent universe if you're, say, a pirate and you have a Hornet with a whole bunch of Suckerpunch cannons on it. You might be able to immobilize a large ship, something like a Constellation, Freelancer, or maybe even a Cutlass, and take it over by force. If you had a friend in another ship, you could board the ship and kill the crew and take the ship as your own without actually doing any damage. So if you take it to some space chop shop, you might actually get more money for it than if you just blew it up and stole the cargo. So I could see that being a very good use for it. However, there still are uses for it in Arena Commander, which we will take a look at in a little bit. Let's talk a little bit more about the Suckerpunch Cannon. It is a short-range weapon that overheats fairly easily, and it does require a significant amount of power to fire. And as it requires a significant amount of power to fire, you're probably going to wonder as to why I put it on my Aurora LN. The reason I did is because, well, the Aurora LN is an underrated weapon system, but the main reason is because the power output of that generator is about the same as you're going to find on a 300 series and an Avenger, so it actually works quite well, and I can fit the weapons that it synergizes well with. Speaking of the weapons that it synergizes well with, it would be the energy-based weapons that it synergizes well with. And we nicked off the size 2 mounts off of our Hornet and put them on the Aurora LN here, so we have 2 Badger repeaters as well as the Suckerpunch cannons. And you'll see in a little bit why this is a very good combination. In fact, we're going to talk about it too. Despite its drawbacks, it works well at immobilizing enemies that rely on their power generators, such as enemies that have energy-based weapons or energy-based weapons and large shields. Enemies that rely on armor, you're going to have a harder time killing, or energies that rely on ballistic weapons, well, good luck, because they don't really require much energy whatsoever. Let's actually get into Arena Commander, and we'll talk a little bit more about it in Arena Commander while we're demonstrating how it works. All right, let's get in here. And we're going to be fighting the Vanduul, which is actually one of the worst things to attack to use the Suckerpunch cannons against, because the Vanduul rely heavily upon armor. Well, let's go into a drone sim match. We'll select our Aurora LN, and let's launch it. I'll see you guys back when we are in Arena Commander.
Swarm initiated.
Alright, so like we stated before, let's talk about it right after the Vanduul spawn in.
Stand by. Scanning.
Okay, you can stop talking there. There we go. Alright, the Suckerpunch Cannon works very well against enemies that have very good shields but weak armor, such as Mustangs and other ships kind of like that. And as you see, sometimes they're kind of hard to hit because they don't have a very high rate of fire. And as you see, the power generation is already a problem. And we're having a hard time hitting them, but once you do hit them, you will notice that it's going to be a lot easier to penetrate the shields with the Badger repeaters, which is why I put the Badger repeaters on here, because normally the Badger repeaters have a hard time, well, not a hard time against ships with shields, but they have to go through the shields first. But if you weaken their shields, you can just go straight to the hull and damage them that way, kind of like a ballistic cannon would. So that's the idea behind this particular setup, is that you take out their shields with the Suckerpunch cannon, and then you absolutely destroy them with your Badger repeaters, which have an absolutely insane rate of fire and really good damage. However, if you suck at aiming like I do, well, you're gonna have trouble. Yep. Their shields are already down, and they're dead. It's pretty good for just an Aurora. I gotta treat these lasers not like they're bullet hoses, and I might actually be able to do more damage if I actually place my shots before I fire them. There we go. And there we go. We got somebody on our 6, I think. Oh, nope. We got him. So, there you go. That is the whole premise behind this, and
There are multiple hostiles inbound.
yes, I blew off part of my wing, but that's just because I'm a terrible pilot.
Radar contact.
Alright, well, I think that'll be it for this episode, where we review the Suckerpunch cannon. Thank you folks for watching, and I will see you guys next time.